Hey everyone, we're back again, drinking it easy. And this time we're going to talk about my nebulizer machine that we do along with the shaker vest at the same time. Dad?
Here we go. This little green box on the top shelf of his cart is his nebulizer. It's pretty simple, straightforward, just got an on and off switch to it. There's an oxygen line running from it to a nebulizer doohickey.
That we keep in a bag for safety.
We keep in a bag to keep it sterile. And we do this every morning and usually every evening. And the purpose of this is to convert a liquid into a vapor that will inundate his lungs. This is albuterol. It's in a white little bullet, and it sort of expands the alveoles, or whatever you call those things, in his raviolis in his lungs, and helps secretions to kind of burst loose. Sometimes we do albuterol, and sometimes we do saline. The pink ones are saline. And the way you put these in the canister is you just kind of unscrew the top of that, and then you put it in there like so. Hopefully you can see.
You squeeze it in.
You squeeze it in and put it back. And at this point we have to replace the suction catheter, and we'll describe that later on. But for now, we're just going to replace it. And we put this in its place. And it's kind of straightforward how those things fit together. And if you ever have to do this, you can actually rehearse at some time when it's not on, Evan, to make sure you're comfortable with doing it. And then we put the suction catheter, back in the plastic bag, once again to kind of do our best to keep it as sterile as possible. Now, something that we haven't talked about, and we'll talk about later on when we talk about his suction catheters and so forth, his trach has a balloon in it. At the bottom end of the trach there's a balloon. When we nebulize Evan, we've got to inflate that balloon, or else this vapor won't go down into his lungs as we want it to do. It will escape through his nose and mouth.
Let's turn it on and show him
All
how
right.
the vapor
Good idea. Hopefully you can see this, how he's appears like he's vaping.
I don't think they can.
I don't know if you can see it or not, but anyway,
It's there. There it is.
So what we do is we inflate his balloon on his trach. Now, you don't want to overinflate it, and you try not to underinflate it, but under is certainly better than over. And about in this syringe, which we attach to this little, what they call a pilot balloon here, and it just kind of screws in like so. It's pretty straightforward. And again, you could practice that any old time just to make sure you know how to attach it, detach it, and so forth. But about halfway, we pull the syringe back, and that's about how much air we're going to be putting in the balloon at the bottom end of his trach. The purpose of this pilot balloon is just to give us some sense of how much air is in the balloon at the bottom of his trach. So I'm going to inflate that, and then once I have it inflated, I'm going to push the on button over here, and he is now nebulizing. Now, what we do in the mornings, we do these two simultaneously, because at the same time the shaker vest is shaking loose the secretions. We want the vapor to kind of fill those air sacs in his lungs to maximize the effort to bust loose any secretions that may be there. We do it in the morning because obviously he's been laying in his bed all night long, and so it's been a good number of hours when there hasn't been much movement in his torso. So we try to get things moving. So he's nebulizing, and while he's nebulizing, I'll turn his shaker vest back on. And I think that's about it for that video.